tous fiers d'être Camerounais.
Thursday, the 8th of January 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6:30 p.m. news on News 1. These are the headlines. President Paul Biya has reaffirmed Cameroon's commitment to the maintenance of peace, respect for humanitarian principles, and the promotion of international cooperation. The head of state was addressing members of the national and diplomatic corps today as he received the 2026 New Year wishes at the Unity Palace. And also, Cameroon's 2025 B recruits have completed a 400-kilometer endurance march, a defining test that pushes their limits and prepares them for the challenges of national security. That was it for the headlines, the developments and more. Up next. It's a pleasure meeting you, ladies and gentlemen. Once more again, I am Jackie Yebele, your news anchor. Cameroon has once again placed diplomacy and international cooperation at the heart of its foreign policy agenda. At the Unity Palace today, January 8th, President Paul Biya hosted the traditional New Year wishes ceremony with members of the diplomatic corps, an annual rendezvous that goes beyond protocol to reaffirm the country's attachment to peace, respect for humanitarian principles, and the strengthening of ties with nations across the world. Micheline Biloua for the reports.
President Paul Biya hosted the traditional New Year wishes ceremony at the Unity Palace this Thursday, January 8th, welcoming members of the diplomatic corps to mark the beginning of 2026. This annual event is more than just a formality. It reflects Cameroon's commitment to peace, diplomacy, and international cooperation. Addressing the gathering, President Biya reaffirmed Cameroon's dedication to the maintenance of peace, respect for humanitarian principles, and promotion of international cooperation. The head of state stressed the importance of respecting the territorial integrity of nations and called for an end to violence worldwide. For President Biya, the ceremony served as a platform to strengthen diplomatic ties and showcase Cameroon's role as a hub of peace and development in Africa. It is an opportunity to engage directly with foreign diplomats and highlight the country's efforts in building strong, mutually beneficial relations globally. Speaking on behalf of the diplomatic community, His Excellency Amando Kote Ekwaka, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, commended Cameroon's proactive role in regional and international diplomacy. He emphasized that through continued diplomatic engagement, Cameroon is well positioned to foster peace, stability, and cooperation within the sub-region and beyond. The New Year wishes ceremony is more than a diplomatic tradition. It is a reflection of Cameroon's vision for a peaceful, cooperative, and stable Africa. For President Biya, it remains a key moment to reinforce the country's commitment to international dialogue and unity.
As announced a while ago, the 2025 intakes of Cameroon Rapid Intervention Battalion has crossed a major milestone in their military formation. Recruits training at the Manao Bay camp in Limbe have successfully completed a grueling 400-kilometer endurance march, a key test designed to build resilience, discipline, and combat readiness within one of the country's elite security units. Fabrice Kettinga for the details.
The 2025 recruits of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, the B, at the Manawa Bay training camp in Limbe have completed one of the most demanding phases of their military formation, a 400-kilometer endurance march from Limbe in the southwest to the littoral region and back. The long-distance walk is not just a physical challenge. It is a defining test designed to build mental toughness, discipline, teamwork, and resilience, qualities that are required of soldiers serving in one of Cameroon's elite security units. Recruits are trained to endure fatigue, harsh weather conditions, limited rest, and psychological pressure, conditions similar to those they may face during real-life operations.
It was not easy. I put effort, the sleepless night for the 400 kilometers which we passed through.
Changing from my civilian life to military life wasn't easy. I thank the hierarchy of B for making everything possible for our training to pass smoothly.
Military officials say the exercise helps identify recruits who can remain focused and operational even under extreme stress. It also strengthens unity among the trainees, as success demands on collective effort rather than individual strength. Recruits are expected to support one another, reinforcing the spirit of solidarity that is central to B operations.
And expect that the future will be bright for them in the army.
Y'a le moral? Vous êtes à 5 km. 5 km de votre matricule.
Out of the 877 recruits who began the march, 874 successfully completed the exercise, a performance authorities describe as a strong indicator of discipline and preparedness within the 2025 intake. Beyond endurance, the march is also a lesson in obedience, respect for command, and strict adherence to military rules. Each step taken reinforces the core values of the armed forces: loyalty, sacrifice, and service to the nation. With this milestone achieved, the recruits now move closer to completing their training, better prepared physically and mentally to face the demands of national security. For the B, the endurance march remains a crucial filter, shaping recruits into soldiers capable of responding effectively to complex and high-risk missions.
Talking about education tonight, ensuring the smooth continuation of the academic year remains a priority for secondary education authorities as the second term gets underway. Challenges linked to school resumption and effective teaching are being closely monitored. It is in this context that the Minister of Secondary Education, Pauline Nalova-Lyonga, chaired a coordination meeting at the Yaoundé Distance Learning Center, bringing together school administrators both in persons and video conference. The meeting followed the minister's field meeting to several secondary schools in Yaoundé and focused on assessing on the ground realities and strengthening coordination for a successful second term. And also, Cameroon is stepping up efforts to finance transformative development projects through strategic partnership with international financial institutions as discussion intensify an innovative mechanism to support priority sectors of the economy. Reports. On January 7, 2026, the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, held a high-level meeting with senior executive of the SG Financial Group. Discussions focused on the establishment of a dedicated financing facility designed to support major projects in priority sectors such as energy, housing, and digital infrastructure. These sectors are considered critical to Cameroon's structural development and long-term competitiveness. The proposed financing mechanism aims to mobilize long-term and sustainable investments by leveraging private and institutional capital. It is expected to reduce pressure on public finances while improving access to funding for large-scale projects that traditionally face financing constraints due to the size, complexity, and long repayment periods. Energy development remains a central concern as reliable power supply is essential for industrial growth and economic productivity. Housing was also highlighted as a priority, particularly in the context of rapid urbanization for the need for affordable and modern residential infrastructure. In addition, digital infrastructure investments are seen as key to accelerating economic diversification, improving public service delivery, and strengthening Cameroon's position in the digital economy. This initiative aligns with the objective of Cameroon's National Development Strategy 2030, which emphasizes inclusive growth, private sector-led development, industrialization, and increased foreign direct investments. By engaging international finance groups such as SG Financial Group, the government aims to enhance projects' bankability, attract foreign capital, and accelerate the implementation of structuring projects identified under the National Development Framework. Beyond financings, the discussions reflect a broader policy shift towards innovative financial engineering, blended financial solution, and risk-sharing mechanism. Through this strategic engagement, The government of Cameroon reaffirms its commitment to modernizing the national economy, strengthening investor confidence, and promoting inclusive and sustainable growth. If successfully implemented, the proposed financing facilities could play a key role in closing Cameroon's infrastructure financing gap, creating jobs, and improving living standards across the country. Improving the management of statistical data within the centralized local council is now a key priority to boost local development in Cameroon. Reliable data is expected to enhance planning, governance, and decision-making at the local level. It is within this framework that a partnership agreement was signed under the impetus of the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, the coordination team of the local governance and resident communities projects, and the National Institute of Statistics aims at strengthening statistical monitoring of local authorities. And also, the executive members of the Northwest Regional Assembly have officially taken the oath of office, ushering in a new 5-year mandate focused on community dialogue, innovation, and youth empowerment. The ceremony took place at the Northwest Court of Appeal in Bamenda, and Fabrice Kedinga reports for us.
I, Fonfo Amidunji, I swear on honor and pledge to serve the interests of the region and to loyally and faithfully discharge my duties without discrimination or favoritism, in compliance with the law and in accordance with the values of democracy and the principles of unity and integrity of the Republic.
The newly elected executive members of the Northwest Regional Assembly have officially taken the oath of office, marking the beginning of a new 5-year mandate. The ceremony took place on January 7 at the Northwest Court of Appeal in Bamenda, where the re-elected president of the Northwest Regional Executive Council, Professor Fru Angwafo III, was sworn in alongside other members of the Executive Council. Speaking to the press after the ceremony, Professor Fru Angwafo III called on the population of the region to work closely with the council to drive development. He emphasized the need for community dialogue, inclusive community projects, and innovation, particularly in empowering young people to take advantages of opportunities in the digital economy, both locally and globally. The council president noted that the previous 5 years in office provided valuable lessons and a deeper understanding of the development priorities of the population, made possible through collaboration with local stakeholders. A notable highlight of the ceremony was the swearing-in of 29-year-old Fon Amidunji, the Fon of Nkambe, as president of the Northwest House of Chiefs and vice president of the Regional Executive Council, symbolizing a blend of traditional authority and modern governance. In addition, 4 new members joined the Executive Council, signaling a renewed drive and fresh energy within the regional leadership. The oath of office was administered by the Vice President of the Northwest Court of Appeal, Justin Kengla, officially paving the way for the council to commence work. As the new Executive Council settles into office, expectations remain high, with the population of the Northwest region looking forward to tangible actions that will address development challenges and improve livelihoods.
To serve the interests of the region and to loyally and faithfully discharge my duties without discrimination or favoritism, in compliance with the law and in accordance with the values of democracy and principles of unity and integrity of the Republic.
In the grassfields where the newly elected president of the West Regional Council, Jules Ile Foka, was sworn in yesterday, January 7th, before the West Court of Appeal. The oath-taking ceremony was presided over by the court's second vice president, Jean-Claude Atangana, and attended by the governor of the West Region, Awafonka Augustine, representing the state. Beginning his second mandate, Jules Hilaire Foka reaffirmed his commitment to steering the nation towards sustainable development with a focus on strengthening local governance and improving the living conditions of the population. And also the long-awaited rehabilitation of the strategic Douala-Bafoussam Highway has entered a decisive phase, with the process of selecting construction companies officially underway. Reports.
Authorities have launched the pre-qualification phase for companies interested in carrying out the rehabilitation works on the Douala-Bafoussam Road. Several firms have already expressed their interest by submitting technical proposals, which will serve as the basis for the forthcoming call for tenders expected in the coming days. The project has been structured into 3 distinct areas. Area 1 covers the Bekoko-Penja section over a distance of 70 kilometers. Area 2 runs from Penja to the Nkam Bridge, spanning 77.7 kilometers, while Area 3 links the Nkam Bridge to Banjul over 71.2 kilometers. Altogether, the project covers a total length of 218.9 kilometers. The overall cost for the rehabilitation works is estimated at 229.93 million euros, equivalent to nearly 151 billion francs. Once completed, the road will feature a 7.5 meter wide carriageway with 2 lanes of 3.75 meters each. Shoulders will measure 1.5 meters in rural areas and 2 meters in urban zones, while major urban crossings will be developed into dual carriageways with 2x2 lanes. This major infrastructure project is expected to enhance road safety, reduce travel time, and strengthen trade flows between Cameroon's economic capital and the Western Highlands.
Construction works are steadily advancing at the eastern entrance of Douala, a strategic gateway into the economic capital. Over the past few days, efforts have been intensified on both the main roadway and the diversion roads. Engineers are currently rehabilitating the foundation layer at the roadgate roundabout, while work is also on the way to lay the base layer. All required construction materials have been delivered, enabling the project team to soon begin applying the wearing course, a key stage expected to significantly improve road quality, traffic flow, and safety for road users. Talking about health tonight, a historic health initiative has been launched. A systematic medical checkup were rolled out for secondary school students across the north region of Cameroon, signaling a major step forward, integrating students' well-being into Cameroon's education system, and that was done at the St. Therese College in Garoua. Details.
St. Therese College in Garoua hosted today the official launch of systematic medical checkups in secondary schools across the North region. This unprecedented initiative marks a decisive turning point in the integration of students' health into Cameroon's educational system. Led by the regional delegation of secondary education for the North, the program aims to make schools true hubs for prevention, early screening, and the promotion of well-being. The event, chaired by the regional delegate Benjamin Boussa, brought together a wide range of stakeholders, including administrative authorities, education officials, health professionals, religious leaders, and members of the school community. Speakers emphasized the urgency of regular medical monitoring for students in the context where health challenges in schools are often underestimated. Addressing the audience, Dr. Usman recalls that health is a prerequisite for any sustainable learning process, stressing the crucial role of school medicines in the early detection of illnesses and in raising awareness about good hygiene practices. The highlights of the ceremony was undoubtedly the presentation of the medical team and the symbolic launch of consultations. The first students underwent routine examinations under the watchful eyes of the authorities, marking the concrete starts of the health campaign. Through the program, education authorities aim to build a lasting culture for medical follow-up in schools. The systematic medical visits will gradually be extended to all secondary schools in the North region, reaching thousands of students and laying the foundations for a healthier, safer, and more inclusive school environment.
Beyond our borders tonight in Central African Republic, the opposition leader Anissé Georges Dogele has denounced what he calls a massive electoral fraud, accusing authorities of serious voting irregularities. Elsewhere, President Donald Trump has signed a memorandum cutting the U.S. ties with 66 international organizations, including the World Health Organization and UNESCO, under his America First policy. Micheline Biloua for the roundup.
In the Central African Republic, opposition leader Anissé Georges Dogele has denounced what he described as massive electoral fraud. The former prime minister accuses electoral authorities of serious irregularities, including inflated voter lists, ballot stuffing, and pressure on voters in several regions. Dogele says the results do not reflect the will of the people and has called for international scrutiny. The government, however, rejects the allegations and insists the elections were conducted in accordance with the law. The United States has announced the suspension of part of its financial assistance to Somalia's government. Washington cited concerns over governance, transparency, and the management of public funds. U.S. officials say humanitarian aid will continue, but budgetary support is being reviewed. Somali authorities warn the decision could undermine efforts to stabilize the country and combat the Islamist group Al-Shabaab, as Somalia remains fragile both politically and economically. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a presidential memorandum formalizing Washington's decision to withdraw from 66 international organizations under its America First policy. The White House says the move is intended to redirect U.S. resources toward national priorities and reduce funding for institutions considered ineffective or biased. Organizations affected include the World Health Organization, UNESCO, the UN Human Rights Council, the International Organization for Migration, and the International Labour Organization. The decision has sparked criticism from allies, who warn it could weaken global cooperation.
In our sports page tonight, Cameroon will take on host Morocco in the quarterfinals of the 2025 African Cup of Nations at the Prince Moulay Abdoulaye Stadium in Rabat tomorrow, Friday, January 9th, 2026. In the following report, Fabrice Kedinga presents the stats.
This is the fourth meeting between the side at the AFCON finals, with Cameroon being undefeated against Morocco at AFCON with 2 wins and a draw. It is their first AFCON meeting this century and their first clash at the finals for 39 years, 11 months and 29 days. Their first AFCON meeting in 1986 ended 1-1 in the group stages, with Abdel Karim Karimou putting Morocco ahead in the 63rd minute before Roger Milla equalized in the 89th minute. Both teams, however, progressed from Group B. Cameroon eliminated host Morocco in the 1988 semi-finals, with Siri Mekanaki scoring the only goal in the 78th minute. They met for a third time at AFCON in 1992, with Cameroon defeating Morocco 1-0 in their opening Group B match as André Canabi scored in the 23rd minute. Cameroon went undefeated against Morocco through their first 13 meetings between 1981 and 2017, winning 6 games and drawing 4. Morocco have won the last 2 meetings between the sides, including a 2-0 victory in AFCON 2019 qualification on November 16, 2018, courtesy of a Hakim Ziyech brace. Morocco also won their most recent meeting at the 2020 CHAN, defeating Cameroon 4-0 in the semi-finals en route to lifting the title. Cameroon have faced AFCON hosts 13 times previously, recording 6 wins, 5 draws, and 2 defeats. Cameroon's only losses against AFCON hosts came at the 1970 and 1996 group stages, when they lost 2-0 to Sudan and 3-0 to South Africa respectively. Cameroon are unbeaten in their last 6 matches against AFCON hosts, recording 3 wins, 3 draws. Cameroon have faced hosts in the knockout round 6 times previous, with their only defeat coming in the 1986 final against Egypt. They defeated Senegal 1-0 in the 1992 quarter-final, Morocco 1-0 in the 1988 semi-final, Mali 3-0 in the 2002 semi-final, Ghana 1-0 in the 2008 semi-final, and defeated Nigeria on penalties in the 2000 final after a 2-2 draw. Cameroon kept 9 clean sheets in their 13th AFCON meeting against hosts, including their last 3 against Mali in 2002, Ghana in 2008, and Gabon in 2017. Cameroon's biggest win against a host was a 3-0 victory over Mali in the 2002 semi-final, while their heaviest defeat was a 3-0 loss to South Africa in the 1996 group stage opener. The stage is now set for one of Africa's most interesting football games.
Still talking about sports ahead of Cameroon's crucial AFCON 2025 quarter clash against Morocco this Friday, January 9, 2026. Some African journalists currently covering the AFCON have shared their opinions. Let's have their reactions in the following Vox Pop.
I think it's going to be a difficult game. Playing against the host, Morocco, at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium, close to 70,000 seater stadium. It's not going to be easy. Cameroon playing against the semi-finalists of the last World Cup and the host, Morocco. Plus the 12th player, their home crowd, is not going to be easy. But remember, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon are used to such matches.
A 4-0 win for Cameroon. Brian Mbeumo, I'm a Manchester United fan, so I love Brian Mbeumo so much. I really hope that he gets on the score sheet tomorrow. And I think Cameroon have played some really good football at this AFCON. Not too many stellar names, but I think they are playing together as a team some more. And I believe that tomorrow they have what it takes to beat the hosts.
Thank you. I think I am very impressed with what Cameroon has done so far, especially noting the sort of controversies that they had before the tournament, with two coaches releasing two different squads, Eto sacking McVries, and all of that, and dropping Onana and then Vincent Abubakar ahead of the tournament. But they have done well, and it sort of brings my mind back to 2017, where they had similar controversies, dropping some key names and then going on to win the tournaments proper. So I believe that it's sort of like a deja vu playing, and I mean they've hurt a lot of host nations, including my own Ghana back in the 2008 AFCON. So I would want to see them do the same tomorrow. I'll be very excited, especially if the likes of Brian Mbeumo actually finds the net against Morocco and then win it and go on to win the AFCON. Yes.
I think it's tricky in the sense that Cameroon has this kind of unpredictability around them. They're a team with character. When they show up and decide to play, definitely they can upset the odds. For Morocco, they are playing under a lot of pressure. The host nation, they've not really performed up to the expectations of the locals, and it's kind of brought some pressure on the coach, on the players, and you can see it in their games. After 20-30 minutes, if they don't score, then there's a lot on them to deliver. So I think Cameroon can capitalize on it. History also backs Cameroon. In fact, standing here, I am leaning more towards Cameroon qualifying at Morocco's expense. So the indomitable Lions to make it through. And don't forget, they've not lost an AFCON game on Moroccan soil. Thank you. And see what happens next.
First of all, I want to appreciate the coaches. First of all, we know these are coaches who are coaching their home sites. I think they appreciated each other. Coach Pagu actually appreciated the coach of Morocco for what he has done so far. Remember, he took over at the helm of Morocco just at the eve of the World Cup, and we saw their performance at the World Cup. So Coach Pagu in the press conference made it clear that he too took over the team at the eve of the Nations Cup, and we are actually seeing a lot of great job from him. I think it's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow.
This is the end of the 6:30 p.m. news live on BNews 1. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. See you soon. Goodbye.